Attention to the track. We've got 6 1500-metre races coming up for you, 3 for the women and 3 for the men. The schedule for these athletes is the same. They'll race tonight, and then if they progress, they'll have the final tomorrow night, both the men and the women. But it's going to be just 3 across the line to make the final. No time qualifiers in the 1500 metres indoors at this event. Veronika Lizakowska of Poland goes in lane 8. She will certainly expect to be in one of these top 3 with her 4:03 personal best set this year. Marina Martinez, age group medalist on the European level for Spain, goes in lane 7. Elise van der Est was the champion back in 2021. Ava Lloyd, the 19-year-old, was a finalist at the World Junior Championships this year, trains alongside Keely Hodgkinson on her senior debut. Patricia Silva of Portugal, 10-second improvement over 1500 metres this season. Berenice Clay Merlet of France will take hip number 3. Hannah Anderson, the Scottish-based Finn, will go in lane 2. And the final athlete in lane 1, Koriana Kriakopoulou of Greece, 8-time national champion over this distance. So Clay Merlet, Silva and Lizakowska on paper, the athletes well under 4:10. Van der Elst just behind them with the season's best of 4:07. She's got the experience, though, the Belgian woman. But with it being just 3 qualifiers through to the final, no time qualifiers, it'll be very interesting to see how this unfolds. Silva of Portugal, a reluctant leader, I'd expect, the 800-metre, previously an 800-metre specialist. She's a 2 dead runner, but now to be a 4:05 athlete in the indoor season, I think Silva could have a pick of the events. Of course, her dad, a wonderful 1500-metre runner in his day back in the 90s. But Silva is leading. I think this is going to be very, very slow, and then it could be a real burn-up in the later stages.
Well, Hannah, you know full well about the splits. 32-second pace would be for the first lap, would be 4-minute tempo. 33, you're obviously looking at about 4:07 to 4:08. And 34 as well, you're up in the teens. It's about 4:14 pace, something like that. That's a very, very gentle first lap, and 1 or 2 athletes getting impatient.
Well, it's Hannah Anderson who's decided enough is enough. She's got set a personal best this year of 4:19. And that will be one of the slowest out of the athletes that have entered, but she qualified to this championships through her ranking. And the Finnish athlete will have thought, I've qualified for the Europeans, perhaps I can walk away with a personal best. It might be too much to ask if at this stage I can punch into that top 9 in my continent, but at least I'm going to get a personal best. And it could have been a similar attitude for Kriakopoulou, the Greek athlete who leads now. And these two, the slowest in the field on paper, just deciding, I have not come all the way to Apeldoorn to jog around. Let's pick it up. Let's get going.
No, I think if you're an outsider, and Karaini Kriakopoulou is 31 years old, her season's best, only 4:26. I think you're dead right. She's decided, well, I've come here, I'm an outsider. If I'm not going to make it through, I'm at least going to run with some guts and give it a really good go here. And it's nice to see as they go through, 700 metres there. 600 metres. Wow, it is slow.
It really is pedestrian. I think if we look at that 72-second first lap, it's going to be interesting to see what the second lap is. And this is what championship racing is like. There's surging, there's lots of changes of paces. And Lizakowska, the Polish athlete, has managed to slip all the way through on the inside there. That's what happens as well when athletes are trying to overtake. They drift out, and if you just hold your nerve and stick on the inside, you can change your position in some 3 or 4 places to the 4. So let's see, 72 through the first lap. This will be the 800-metre split at the moment. Kriakopoulou of Greece leading, so it's still only, a 69. It is an increase in pace, but they're still going pretty slowly here. And I think Patricia Silva, with that 2 dead 800-metre pace, will be very happy to let this meander. But you can see athletes are trying to make moves through the field. They're trying to get themselves a better position. It's very nerve-wracking when a championship race is this slow.
Well, you know what's also causing a little bit more chaos and jostling for position than usual is because the straights are so short. Athletes don't want to have to try and pass on the bends, and the straights are short, so the windows of opportunity to go past other athletes on the straights are much, much smaller. So that's why there's so much changing of position. I mean, this is ridiculous. I've not seen a race for a long time where there's so many different leaders and a top 4 changing almost every 50 metres.
And again, Lizakowska just gets a spot on the inside. She's just calmly sticking on that inside line, taking any opportunity she can to undertake. Whereas the other athletes, you look at Elise van der Elst now, the Belgian athlete, she's trying to position herself to move up from that 5th position to get higher. And by the time she's got herself some clear running, the straight ends and they're back into a bend. And this is tactical 1500 metre indoor running as they pass with 300 metres left to go. Lizakowska of Poland in the lead at the moment. That's the only real move she's made of the race, the Polish woman. I mentioned her personal best of 4:03. She's one of the strongest in the field. That's a good move from the French athlete as well as she goes up into the third place. Remember, top three only qualify, no time qualifiers. That's why we've seen this cagey, competitive race here. Lizakowska still holding on to the lead. Silva getting swallowed up on the inside by the French athlete. Guillemot moving well around the outside. These three look like they're away. The Spanish athlete Martinez will chase hard down this short home straight. But Lizakowska of Poland just perhaps gets pipped on the line there by Guillemot, and it will be third place to Patrizia Silva. And those three share an embrace down on the track. Nerve-wracking, they got the job done.
Well, incredibly unforgiving, isn't it? But it's a fairer way of doing it than putting athletes into a race where they are fortunate enough to have a front runner who pushes the pace out hard and takes it out, so you get non-automatic qualifiers from that particular heat. This way, if the heats are well seeded, the talent split between all the different heats, three in this case over 1,500 metres, then it is a more fair way, I think, of getting the finalist names, the first three in each race, and those three are well clear, and frankly, the only athlete anywhere near them was the Spanish athlete there, Martin. Well, there's the lineup for the second heat of the women's 1,500 metres, as per that first heat where we had a French, Polish and Portuguese athlete from each of those nations making it through to the final tomorrow night. Only three qualifiers from this second heat, and only 7 athletes in the field. That's not a first page, that's the entire field. Really small fields, but it does mean the opportunity for lots of free, unhindered running. So, Suus Altdorf, the Dutch athlete, listen to that roar. Only 20 years old. What a special moment for the youngster. 4:13, her lifetime best 3 weeks ago. The French, Agathe Guillemot, bronze medalist at the European Championships last year in Rome. Great athlete. 4:05 this winter. Then Torgersen of Denmark, second in the European under-20s back in 2023. Alfonso of Portugal is in there. Georgia Hunter-Bell, which is the outstanding favourite, certainly in this race, and possibly for the final. The Olympic bronze medalist from Paris last year, the Briton. Kristina Sasinek-Maki of Czech Republic, 10 times the Czech champion, based in Prague. And on the inside there, Ingeborg Østergaard, the European under-20 champion, a couple of years back from Oslo. So, 7 athletes, 3 places up for grabs. Away they go. Hunter-Bell, well, the number 1 European this winter, world number 5, and in fact outdoors with that amazing 3:52 in the Olympic final in Paris last August. She's the 11th fastest athlete in history. Her coach, of course, Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows. That's the duo that coach her as she does a lot of training alongside Keely Hodgkinson. Had a fabulous 3,000 on the 2nd of February in Boston, where she improved her personal best by over 7 seconds. She goes straight to the front. That 3,000 personal best has come down to 8:36, and she looks very comfortable here, and the others allowing her to play Pied Piper here. And Hannah, I think the pace a little bit quicker than that first heat.
Only a tiny bit though, Tim. It's still pretty pedestrian. And Georgia Hunter-Bell at the National Championships in Birmingham in the UK a couple of weeks ago, she didn't actually hang around that much in the heat. It was almost like she wanted to try and have some sort of decent run out, and so I was wondering whether she'd do that here today or whether she'd be looking to conserve maximum energy for the final. But Hunter-Bell, she's a 1:56 800 metre runner. She doesn't have to wonder what her speed is doing. Afonso, for me, the Portuguese athlete, she ran a very good 3,000 metres the other day, and I think she's someone that shouldn't let this race meander. She would have seen her teammate Silva go through in the previous heat, and I think Afonso, she should look at making a move from 600 800 out to give herself the best shot of being in the top 3, because it's really fine margins. Guillemot of France, she warmed up in Madrid with doing an 800 last week for this event and ran a personal best over that shorter distance, so she should be confident in her speed as well. But it looks like Georgia Bell, she might just be lifting the pace.
Well, Bell's still happy to lead. The first lap was 70.7. It was on the slow side, as you say, although the first heat, the first 400 was 72. She's beginning to stride out a little bit now, maybe just picking it up here. Worried that somebody might try and come past her. Guillemot behind her for France is a strong athlete. Bronze medalist in Rome, remember, last summer. Afonso, as you mentioned, Hannah, eight-time the Portuguese champion. Ran under 4 minutes in that Paris Olympic final. 8th European Championships. Afonso last year in Rome. And they go through their 800 metres, 2:90 and almost exactly 2:20. So that second 400 metres segment a tiny bit quicker than the first, but there's not the same pushing and shoving because I think it's just a little bit quicker, Hannah. It's a bit more respectable.
Big move from the youngster Sofia Togersen of Denmark, the 19-year-old. She's picked up medals on the age group rankings. She trains with Niels Laros and that group here with Thomas Lewandowski in Papendal, so she's will feel pretty at home here. Togersen, she's done that thing a young athlete does on this level for the first time. She tried to make a move, the Danish athlete, you can see the red vest, but she didn't follow it through. She's expended a lot of energy and hasn't really improved in the field. They all seem to see this force field around Georgia Hunter-Bell and think, I can't go past her, I can't get on her shoulder.
Hunter-Bell running a smart race. She's running the shortest line from the front on these short straights and wide, stretchy bends. Winds it up a little bit more on this last lap. Guillemot of France in second place still. The Portuguese Afonso in third. Down the back straight for the penultimate time, and she really has controlled this one with real authority, has Hunter-Bell. She's stretching away every 100 metres or so. I bet if you could measure it, there'd be a slight clicking off a notch each time she goes through a 100-metre point. The bell this time, and Hunter-Bell still has plenty of company. She can't relax too much on this final lap. Guillemot in second place. Afonso, Portugal in third. In fourth place is Maki of Czechia, based in Prague, 10 times a Czech champion. Down the back straight, it's Afonso trying to get up there with Bell, but as they go into this final wide bend, there's still 4 in there. Trying desperately to get back on terms with them is Sasinek Maki. As they come towards the line, Hunter-Bell just stretches away, looking very relaxed. Guillemot second, Afonso third. That's the 1, 2, 3. 2 Portuguese into the final already, and 2 French athletes as well after Chloé Emel won the first heat. Well, certainly nothing wrong with Hunter-Bell there. She looked absolutely fantastic. Controlled it from gun to tape. Ran it like a pro. Managed everybody else's hopes and aspirations as they thought they might get any sniff at an acceleration and moving up into her shoulder, Hannah. So she kept clicking it up and up and up. In that last 3 or 4 laps, it got quicker and quicker.
I feel like Hunter-Bell, well, she's made so many European finals. She was 4th in Istanbul. She'd be desperate for an individual medal to go with her mixed relay medals. Diana Mazunianakova of Czechia goes on the outside. Reve Walcott-Nolan, mixed season for Walcott-Nolan. She fell in Levan and then did recover well in Torun to run 4:05. Marta Zanoni broke a 43-year-old national indoor record at the start of her season in Luxembourg at 4:03. Anna Løvne of Norway goes the name for. Jocelyn Vind of Switzerland dabbled a bit with 800 last year, but back to 1500. She says this is her favourite distance. And Marissa Deming getting a big cheer from the local crowd. And there is Esther Guerrero. I mentioned she's had medals in the mixed cross country with her team at the European Cross Country Champs, but Esther Guerrero, she made so many 800 metre finals at European level and then made the move to 1500 a couple of years ago. Was rewarded with a sub-4 in Budapest. And she has stuck at this longer distance, Guerrero. She's done a Spanish national record over, I think, 2,000 metres this indoor season. She won't be intimidated by this stage, Esther Guerrero. And I think she might fancy her chances of controlling this race, leading from the front. She's done a great 3,000 metres this season. I would look to see Esther Guerrero move this third and final heat into sort of the 4:15 range from the start and just spread it out and not worry about the pushing and the shoving and the tripping that can go on if you let the pace dawdle.
Well, they all know what's been going on in the previous 2 heats. They will have had run-outs on the track. They've got the feel for the track, and they will be well aware, Hannah, of this strange shaped track in many respects with these wide bends and short straights. So is to their advantage to keep near the front end. You don't want to have to pass too many people. When you know that passing is harder, you don't want to be towards the back of a field in a race like this, I would say. Walcott Nolan there, Britain off the curve, looks very comfortable. Only 6 laps to go. They're in the early stages of this race. But this is steady at the moment, not quick.
I thought Esther Guerrero would make it a bit quicker, keep it simple, but she's not. The Spanish woman has gone perhaps the slowest through the first 400 metres of any of the 3 heats. There we go, 73. So it is the slowest. But I have a theory about athletes that move from 800 to 1500. They're used to having to think in the 800 very, very quickly. So making those decisions in a 1500 metres is quite simple for them. And we've got Relive, Walcott Nolan and Esther Guerrero began their international careers as 800 metre runners. And perhaps they're just more comfortable and relaxing when they think they can make those split-second decisions a little quicker. I think Walcott Nolan will be staying wide like that after that fall from her opening race in Levan. She will not be keen to be in the middle of a bunched pack like that. Jocelyn Wind, the Swiss athlete, she's happy to sit on the inside, much like Patricia Silva in the first heat. The Swiss athlete's actually running the shortest line, and she's been gifted space sort of every time they get to a straight. The field opens up and she can move up the middle.
Well, I'm glad to see Walcott Nolan. When she ran in Liévin, she obviously was in a big untidy race. We saw her fall only after the race. We didn't see it live, but she's off the curb here, and with only 7 athletes in each of these races, this is a much more comfortable qualifying situation. It's not quick though, and that means there will be a lot of jostling in the latter stages. They're coming towards 800 metres now, Hannah. 73 that first lap, 73.2, 2:24 at 800, the slowest of the 3.
And Guerrero is perfectly capable of turning the screw here, and you can see it was almost wait till 800 metres, and this time it is 600 metres to go for the whole field, and that's an uncomfortable distance out to go for unless you're strong and you're confident, and I think Esther Guerrero of Spain is both of those, but she has got to judge this absolutely perfectly, because Jocelyn Wind is great over 800 metres. Marta Zanoni and Relive Walcott Nolan are quicker than Guerrero this season. Oh, you see a push and a shove there between Zanoni and Walcott Nolan as they try and get themselves into a better position as they come through with 400 metres to go. Remember, just 3 automatic qualifiers for the final.
3:13 with 400 to go. Now it really has picked up. These are going to be a vicious last couple of laps. We're going to see some rubbery legs on the last circuit as Guerrero, as you said, Hannah, has controlled this one, but it's just not as been in quite a dominant a fashion as Hunter Bell in that second heat.
Marta Zanoni, one of the athletes favoured to make this final, has got herself in a tricky position. The Italian athlete, she's pinned by Jocelyn Wind on the inside, and Zanoni frantically looking for space as the home athlete Demet takes the inside line. They hear the bell. Esther Guerrero, the leader for the whole race, still out in front. Relive Walcott Nolan out of trouble. Jocelyn Wind perhaps just cutting across Marissa Damink, but that is indoor racing. Damink back on her in her rhythm though. Damink sprinting down the home straight, back straight, roared on by this home crowd. Remember, 3 automatically qualified. Zanoni of Italy, 4:03 this season. She's way back, and these front 3 trying to separate themselves from the Dutch athlete. Esther Guerrero is going to win, run gun to take. Relive Walcott Nolan and Jocelyn Wind. That is one of the best runs of her career to make a senior final. Guerrero looks relieved. I'm sure Walcott Nolan will as well. And Wind, she's actually moved training groups in the last few months. She trains alongside Audrey Varro, who will go in the women's 800 metres. So to have her in the final of the 1500 is great news for the Swiss team.
Well, the last 461 seconds, that was quite tasty. It was winding up, wasn't it, through those last couple of circuits. Guerrero, very, very impressive winner of that one. Walcott Nolan too, she had a sort of majesty about her. She looked very comfortable in that one too. I hope she's got plenty left in the tank there, the Brit. And Vint, yeah, as you say, great run from her. What a shame Damink couldn't make it through. Of course, we want, being neutrals, the Dutch athletes to get through to these finals and to perform well in every discipline at these championships. We want the crowd to have more and more to... There it is, the lineup for this women's 1,500 metres final, and what a race it promises to be. It'll be followed by the men's 1,500 metre final. If you love your middle distance racing, this is special. So, as they come out onto the track, showing very, very quick heels, there is Vint, Jocelyn Vint. Best of outdoors of 4:06 last September. Only 4:14 the heat. The heats were very slow. These athletes should be relatively fresh. Clé Merle there of France, second in the French Championships. She only had to run 4:13 in a heat. Guerrero, very tough little athlete, the Spaniard, 35 years old, so experienced, fourth in Istanbul 2 years ago. Can she go at least one place better here to get onto the roster from Guerrero? There are 2 Portuguese, 2 Brits, 2 French, a Swiss, a Spanish and a Pole in this race. Afonso is one of those Portuguese, 8th in the world indoors last year. Lizakowska is out there as well, the Pole going in this one, the sole Pole in this race. European number 4 this year. There is Reve Walcott-Nolan, second in the UK Championships to the favourite Georgia Hunter-Bell, the Luton AC athlete. Guillemot of France, 4:05 this winter, the French champion, and there is Georgia Hunter-Bell, the outstanding favourite on paper at least, but who knows? We had surprises already at these championships. We are guaranteed new champion. No Laura Muir. She lost the UK Championships 3,000 a couple of weeks ago to Hannah Nuttall and wrapped up her indoor season. But those very slow heats mean these athletes are fresh and they could go quick if they want. Previous winners, well, Margaret Beecham back in 1971 won the inaugural event for Great Britain. Mary Stewart in 1977. And then Britain had to wait another 40 years before Laura Muir took her brace of titles in 2017 and 2019. And then she came back to win 2 years ago in Istanbul. 3 titles to Laura Muir then. Other great names who have taken this title: Sifan Hassan in 2015, Carla Sacramento of Portugal back in 1996. There's Lizakowska, 4:03 this year. She's certainly a threat. The pole, they've had a great couple of days so far. The French there on the outside. Clé Merle, Vint, Silva, Guerrero likes to front run. The only athlete from that 2023 final here is Guerrero. There were 12 in the final that day. Afonso goes here as well. Watch her. World Indoor finalist last year, as I said, in Glasgow. 12 times a Portuguese finalist. But of course, all eyes here on Georgia Hunter-Bell, the Olympic bronze medalist, the European silver medalist last year. The fastest in Europe in 2025, Georgia Hunter-Bell. She's fast with 1:56 over 800, strong with a recent 8:36 for 3,000. She won the Melrose Games in New York a month ago. She's been in very fine form, hardly put a foot wrong this indoor season, Hunter-Bell. But it doesn't look here like she wants to lead in the early stages. You can see her there in 3rd place on the outside, running wide. It doesn't matter when they're going this slowly. Her teammate Reve Walcott-Nolan there in 2nd place. On the inside is Afonso of Portuguese. The French Guillemot coming down the outside, deciding that she doesn't want to jog this race, but they go through 200 metres. Desperately slow, Hannah England.
It definitely is. And Agathe Guillemot and Georgia Hunter-Bell have got medals at the European level, and of course the Brit with her Olympic bronze medal. But every other woman in this field, they've got an opportunity to really change the tone of their career here this afternoon in Apeldoorn, picking up a continental medal. And the likes of Esther Guerrera is in her 5th consecutive European indoor final. The Spaniard tucked there on the inside. She's got a lot of experience, but hey, we love these slow 1500 metre races. The positioning's so important, and I think this is more nerve-wracking for the athletes and the spectators than just going off fast. And at 69 and with 70 seconds through the first 400, that's about 4:20, 4:22 pace.
Yeah, the first lap 35.4, very slow first 400. It always makes me nervous when it's slow, and it's this slow and the pack is this bunch. 5 laps to go, that's 500 metres done, and these athletes are so close together. You can throw a big blanket over them, and I would prefer Hunter-Bell to be a little bit further clear. She is the strong favourite here. Number 11 all-time outdoors with that 3:52 for that magnificent Olympic bronze medal last summer in Paris. Up alongside Guillemot of France, their champion, who has that inside line. But they're going so slowly, it doesn't matter if you're running quite a lot wide at this tempo. More important is your position. And perfectly positioned, funnily enough, is Hunter-Bell there. She takes the lead. She comes through with 800 metres to run. And
Hunter-Bell, she just got past the Frenchwoman there without really any change in the pace. I think Guillemot let Georgia Hunter-Bell go. Guillemot's got to be careful here. She doesn't get flywheeled and congested with the other athletes. Georgia Hunter-Bell at 1:56. She is the fastest over 800 metres, but she doesn't have, for me, the explosive kick that you'd expect from a 1:56 runner. She's going to have to do this like Jakob Ingebrigtsen, just squeeze and speed it up ever so slightly.
Well, Hunter-Bell is coached by Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows. She trains with Keely Hodgkinson. They will have told her and discussed with her how to run this one, and I think she'll wind it up now. 3 laps to go. Hunter Bell gradually accelerating. And if you gradually accelerate in the latter stages of the race, then somebody to get past you has got to put in a sort of double acceleration to get past you. And she's controlling things at the moment. And I tell you what, her teammate Walcott Nolan is quite some barrier there in second place to the rest of them. They'll have to come very wide if they want to get past her on these big sweeping bends here in Apeldoorn. On the inside, Guillemot running a smart race at the moment, running the shortest line, but she is boxed. Clé Merle on the outside. The rest of them with Guillemot of Spain there back in 5th place, just following along at the moment as they come round with 2.5 laps to go.
And Georgia Hunter Bell is getting faster. It was a 33, then a 31.5. So she is really lifting the pace, and you can see the way it's blown the field apart. I think Guillemot has made a decision here just to run the shortest line, as you said, Tim, right behind Georgia Hunter Bell. Afonso, the Portuguese athlete, has done well to get herself on the coattails of Reve Walcott Nolan. But 4 athletes pulling clear for just 3 medals.
1 lap to go. Hunter Bell then has gradually wound it up imperceptibly. These 4 away. It doesn't really seem like much of an acceleration, but it's been very gradual. It's been very clever. And now she cuts loose. And Guillemot, the French, is on her tail. And Guillemot beginning to get away from the 2 behind. Afonso coming down the outside for Portugal. She's experienced as well. Hunter Bell needs the power here now of this final bend as Guillemot kicks from home. And Hunter Bell looks spent. Afonso goes past her. Guillemot kicks away to a comfortable win. The 2 Brits clash there. They're going to be 3rd and 4th. I think Hunter Bell coming home for the bronze medal. But look at the winning time. 4:07 there. And Guillemot cannot believe it. The biggest shot of the 2 days of these championships so far. Hunter Bell, the outstanding favourite, just looked deflated there over the last 150 metres or so. There was no change of pace. She didn't look right to me. She's hardly put a foot wrong this indoor season, but she didn't have it there in the closing stages. It matters not. The outdoor season is what really matters. Those World Championships in Tokyo come September. But Guillemot and the French have gold in the women's 1,500 metres. And Hannah England, you and I both flabbergasted by that.
Agathe Guillemot, she ran 2 dead last week in Madrid, and that was an outright 800-metre personal best. She's a 3:56 runner, and that speed shown last week, that made me think she could be dangerous coming into this race. And Hunter Bell nudged out of the medals by her teammate Reve Walcott Nolan. So the top 3, Guillemot, Afonso, Walcott Nolan, with their first major medals. You can see Afonso in tears just towards the back of the picture there. That will mean so much to her. And Georgia Hunter Bell, she looks strong at the Kielce Classic, leading almost like gun to tape. She had a pacemaker for some of it, for a 4 dead. So I wonder if we're going to hear in the next couple of days whether there's been something wrong with the Georgia Hunter Bell, because she didn't look sort of as smooth as you'd expect over that last lap.
No, she didn't. This is where you expect Hunter Bell to be strong to maintain her form. But Guillemot clearly had the instruction, stay with Hunter Bell and use your speed. And here she almost runs into the back of Hunter Bell because the Brit looks a little bit constrained with down the back straight. She really doesn't look like she's going flat out and running freely here. I wonder if she has been carrying an injury. Afonso, brilliant, just followed in the slipstream there. Eases past Hunter Bell. No reaction at all from Hunter Bell, who almost looks like she's easing up there down the last 50 metres or so as her teammate, Reve Walcott Nolan, just dips her by a few hundredths of a second to get that bronze medal. But, Guillemot, brilliant running from the French athlete. The winning time in a race as tactical as that, as slow as that, matters not a jot. But a shock for the British team, albeit a medal, a brilliant bronze from Reve Walcott Nolan. They'll be punching the air up at Luton AC, the club up there just to the north of London. And she reverses their positions at those UK Championships 2 weeks ago in Birmingham.
Guillemot, I think, been invited for an interview on the infield and saying, all right. I love the emotion, the outpouring there from Guillemot. Of course, the bronze medal in Rome, a spot in the final in Paris in front of a home crowd. But that was such a calm and composed execution of a race plan there from Agathe Guillemot. And you could tell she had the emotional and the physical energy at the end. Afonso, she made some brave positioning in that race and brave decisions. And she was rewarded over that last circuit. And her turn of speed was great in the last 100 as well.
There it is. Guillemot of France takes the gold in the women's 1,500 metres, the biggest shock of the championship so far. Georgia Hunter Bell run out of the medals, the pre-race strong favourite. Her teammate Walcott Nolan taking that bronze for Great Britain behind Afonso's silver for the Portuguese. It was a slow, tactical affair, and Guillemot, with that superb finishing speed, just blew them away.